Welcome to the Iron Legion episode number 4. This is your host Sky, and we're going to talk about what happens at Endgame and a little bit towards the end of the show, Sylvari and Asura lore. So I just wanted to come in, say hello, say thank you everyone for watching our past 3 episodes. I wanted to go ahead and introduce my team. We got Blackheart here. Blackheart, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Woo!
And then I got Curry Walker over here.
I'm here.
Hey, what's up? Oh god, I forgot that's my picture.
Even though I always mess up your name, but I'll call you Walker. And this is the Iron Legion.
That's fine.
And we'll be talking about the latest news first, which was basically there was an interview, a live stream that just recently came out with 2 of the designers of the game, 2 of the developers. And they had a lot of interesting things to say. So just to go ahead and go into that, here's Eric Flannum, the lead game designer. Basically, I took some points out from their show, their live stream, and wanted to bring it out and kind of highlight it. So at the end of the game, you can see you can keep getting skill points and trade that in for legendary weapons at the Mystic Forge. Legendary weapons are purely cosmetic epic gear that takes a ton of work to get. They are not any more powerful. They're on equal level with the exotic weapons, which is the top tier gears at the moment in Guild Wars 2. So pretty much the gist of that is it's like once you get to level 80, you're still going to be able to get cool skill points that you're going to be able to get cool gear with by throwing it into the Mystic Forge and getting legendary weapons. Which is not the only way to do it, but it's still pretty awesome that you can still get skill points. And I believe he said there was 170 skill points you can get to max out your character, so that is a ton. How do you guys feel about that?
Finally, a reason to walk around the place just like an idiot trying to explore. I always get yelled at for that by my old guildies.
Well, yeah, after watching that video, oh good god, the legendary weapons are sexy. I have to make me a Sylvari ranger named Skittles, and I'm going to run around with a short bow shooting rainbows and yelling at everyone saying taste the rainbow over and over.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, that was my idea.
It seems like everyone really is excited about that short bow that does rainbows. Looks like we're going to have a lot of people who normally don't play the class that uses short bows going to start playing it now.
Rainbow powers activate.
Going into the different type of weapons that they were talking about, the legendary weapons, there was 3 that I took notes from that I wanted to share with you guys. There was one called the Juggernaut Hammer, which is a ball of liquid metal that you leave like liquid metal footsteps, and it's kind of like Terminator. What'd you guys think about that one?
I'm not a fan of that particular one. As cool as it may or may not look, I kind of like playing things that allow me to immerse in the game world. I don't know how it looks yet, but if it looks a little too futuristic or something like that, I'm not going to be a fan. Sorry for everybody who's probably cursing my name right now, but I'll kill a kitten for you, just for you.
Well, yeah, me personally, if I was a human or a Norn, I think I would like that the Juggernaut, just because it would. I like the Terminator. I really like Terminator, and I think that it would work great. But I'm pure Asuran, and I can run around. I'm an Asura warrior for sure, but I just cannot see an Asura wielding this hammer and being covered by the liquid metal and looking decent. I mean, it just would.
Or Terminator.
You have a little tiny Terminator running around, yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, there's certain races that would look good, some wouldn't.
But who's
Pray to whatever god you have.
Who's the 2 classes? I mean, in my head I got 2 classes that can use the hammer. It's the Guardian and the Warrior. Is there any other classes, or am I wrong about the Warrior using a hammer or being able to use a hammer?
Yeah,
I know the Warrior and Guardian can. I don't know about any others.
So far, no, I don't believe anything but the Warrior and Guardian can use it. Other classes can use, I think a few of them can use maces, but nobody but the Asura and the Warrior and Guardians can use the hammer.
And then the short bow, is it just Rangers, Rangers and Warriors, or Rangers? I'm not too sure. Do you guys know? Thieves. Oh, okay, so Thieves and Rangers.
Rangers and Thieves. Warriors do not use short bows. Warriors use long bows.
Alright, so that'd be pretty interesting to see a thief dressed in all black disappearing and then shooting rainbows at his ass. That's gonna be pretty hilarious. Going into the last weapon, we
I
have
would pay money to see that.
going into the last weapon, we have the great sword, which is something that they were talking about for a good minute. It says that it's really two swords that you make into one, and one looks like the night, and the other one looks like the day. So you kind of have that contrast on like this big sword that kind of comes together. That's something that sounds
Badass.
totally badass and epic. Walker, go ahead.
For those who just for those who are not exactly sure what that sword is, from the way they described it, it seemed to me like if you take a great sword and make it out of glass. Except now, if you look through this glass, whatever you see with the sword in the middle of the night, if it's a day sword, you're going to see it as if it was day if you're looking for the sword. Same thing as the night sword. If it's day, you're looking through it, it'll be night. Getting both of those weapons are not easy, but if you're able to acquire both of those, you can combine them in the Mystic Forge and get the final weapon, which is the day and night sword, according to what they told us during the interview. And that right there is basically the same thing as both of them, except it'll automatically switch between day and night whenever, depending on whatever time of day it is.
And did you get to
Which
mess?
I love.
Did any of you guys get to mess with the Mystic Forge? I still have not like even been there. I heard you throw stuff in there, you
No,
get
I
cool
haven't even
gears.
seen it.
So both no go. So that's something definitely I think we should all three check out the next
Yeah,
beta
on my
weekend.
list.
Yeah, definitely. I guess with
I'll be
legendaries
spending my time on the trading post.
with legendaries coming out, everybody is definitely gonna be there trying that out, trying that system out. Going into, I wanted to go into Colin Johanson, who's the lead content designer. He has some
My favorite guy.
pretty cool and interesting to say. Had a big smile the whole entire live stream. Seemed like a pretty cool, down to earth guy. He went ahead and started talking about ore. And ore is a very distinctive end game zone. Players have to progress through the area. The first map in ore involves players trying to take three landings at the beach of ore. You can go through three different paths. One is the north path, which is by sea or air. There's a central path, which is like a navy type with submarines and ships, and then there's the southern path, which is like armies walking and crossing bridges, kind of like infantry type units. And then once you get into the zone, you have to claim god temples to progress through the zone to get to the final dungeon. Or it's pretty much like the stronghold of the undead dragon Zaiton, which I spelled dragon there wrong, so please forgive me. In Guild Wars 2, and then there's 8 story dungeons that also go into the game with 25 explorable paths. So that was a lot, but basically that's some of the points that he was throwing out there. What you guys think about ore and also all the different types of dungeons that are in the game?
Amazing. Simply amazing. I mean, this is probably the first end game I've ever really been truly excited about. Even in WoW, I was kind of just like, man, it's just going to be a dungeon with a lot more people. This actually sounds a lot more fun, and I can kind of hop in at any time instead of gathering a big group together. They'll already be there killing things, which would be great for me since I kind of have a hectic lifestyle. So this is probably the most amazing thing I've heard in that interview, and I couldn't get my mind off of it, and I almost passed out from like sheer excitement. Kind of went through a euphoria, saw rainbows come out of my stereo system. I mean,
That was
it
the
was
plan
just weird.
to give you a bonus.
A little
Yes.
bit.
Yes, I swear, I squealed like a little girl whenever I heard that. I mean, in the on the Twitch TV, of course, everybody knows that there's a chat room on the right. I there was so much traffic going on during this that there was only I sent in one message, and whenever I heard the ore battle, I typed in "hell yeah," all caps, a lot of exclamation marks, hit enter. And then whenever I tried to type the next message, it said, "There's such heavy traffic you cannot type another message for 1,317 seconds." And then,
Worth it.
so
Yeah, I was getting
basically,
that
I
too.
wasted, my one, my one text I get to send to them over this entire interview were just me screaming my pleasure.
That's awesome. For me, it was like them describing it and talking about it. It felt like it sounds weird. It sounds weird the way I'm gonna say this, but it sounded like open world PVE. Cause you think like open world PvP and there's like different scenarios that you have to do, and then you're fighting PvP against other persons. But like when you're in a big PvE environment and you have to get in temples and everybody has to work together to get that temple to unlock the final dungeon and keep it and hold it. And it just sounds to me like open world PvE, which sounds strange, but I don't know. That's just how I can like put it in my head and make sense of the whole thing. And especially with the way you have to enter the zone and you have three different paths, and it just sounds amazing. So I definitely can't wait to get to Endgame and check that out. And of course, how you say his name? Zaitan or Zaitar?
I think it's
Zaytan, I
Zaitan.
think.
Zaitan.
Yeah.
And Zaitan's the undead dragon, so definitely some cool lore stuff there. He's controlling the zone, doing different things like causing roots and all types of chaos in the zone to hinder players from progressing. So it's definitely some pretty cool stuff that you haven't done really in other games. So that's why I guess all three of us and everybody else who was watching the live stream was pretty excited about it. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about as forth as this zone for you two?
One of the things that they mentioned that we actually, whenever you were talking about the god shrines earlier, you didn't mention this. What they said with the god shrines, you didn't actually have to capture each of the god shrines. The way that they have it up is, whenever you capture a god shrine, it'll actually make future, or, let's see, what was it? Dynamic events that
Like
happen in the
buffs?
area easier. Yeah, like, all the god shrines are corrupted. The god shrines that you do not have captured back yet, and are still corrupted, are giving buffs to allies or hurt or debuffs to the players in the area. So your objective, if you're able to capture all five of the god shrines, it actually makes your job easier. But what's making me so excited about this is that the in-game content, where you can't just go through and have one guild go through and do like the in-game content. It's going to require hundreds and hundreds of people to be able to complete this in-game content. You have to have people at each of these god shrines at all times, defending them from oncoming waves of undead, while other people are rushing through trying to capture other areas and defend those. And then they have a dungeon at the end for those who are left at the end who don't have a job yet to go through and clear this dungeon. And before Zaitan can finally pop up. So they didn't mention anything about Zaitan. I don't got a picture of it up, but oh my god, I cannot wait until that. I will. And that right there is, we have a few people in our guild who are actually rushing to 80, and I'd say that right there would be worth it.
And then
Well, the only thing about rushing to 80 is how many people are going to help you.
yeah. And-
I don't know.
well, these guys, they also, other than talking about ore and legendary weapons, they also talked about dynamic leveling. Dynamic leveling pretty much opens up content as you level, and then you can go back and get skill points you missed or play with friends that are like just starting the game, and your level goes down. I mean, other MMOs have done this before, but I never really used it too much. Have you guys ever done this in other MMORPGs, and how do you feel about it here? I mean, I think it's definitely cool that you get skill points so you're not wasting your time, and then you can use that towards getting legendary weapons or whatever other cool stuff you can get in the game. But what do you guys think?
Well, the main thing I liked about it is I can go back to other content that I've missed that's lower level and still get rewarded for it. Because I remember back in WoW and even Warhammer, I would rush through a place, get the quest, level up, but then I wouldn't be able to go to this other place that was the same level content, and I would basically miss all that content unless I rolled a new character. And if I rolled a new character, I'd want to level the fastest, so I go to what I'm familiar with. So there were parts of the world I never got to see, and this gives me a reason to go check it out. So I really like that, and I really like the whole skill point system they have going. That means that you can basically do anything and get to endgame instead of being forced to raid or forced to PvP or anything like that. So that's really amazing to me.
Yeah,
Probably my favorite thing
I
ever.
thought that was big time that you're not farming gear. Like that was the main thing they were saying about endgame. You're not farming gear. You're not, a new expansion is not gonna come out and you're gonna be getting the next tier up, and then the whole balance is changed. Like
Yeah,
it,
pretty
it
much.
seems like they have like a certain formula. They have certain equipments that do certain things, and they balanced it, and they're never gonna have to balance again. So you don't have to worry about your class getting what do you call it? How do you call that, guys?
Nerfed.
Yeah, nerfed. So you don't have to worry about your class.
What do you? Yeah, nerfed.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about your class getting nerfed. Like in WoW, I'll be playing a druid, and then like I'll be like one of the best on the server, and then all of a sudden he gets nerfed, and I'm like, dude, I don't even want to play this guy anymore. Let me go ahead and level again a whole nother tune, a whole nother class, a whole nother character, which like really blows and kind of kills the whole thing in the game. At least for Guild Wars, we can all see that, you know, it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be persistent. There's not gonna be too much change, so it's really gonna be based on skill and how you hone your skills in to the game, and that for me really really excites me. What do you guys think?
Separation of strong and weak.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that's big in this game as well is that even though they say every class can do everything, you can be a elementalist who run in with daggers and fight. But I do believe that every single class out there does have their specific role still, in a little bit, or just in their own way. Like you won't see a elementalist running in with daggers versus a warrior using sword and shield, and the elementalist having a major advantage over the warrior. The warrior is almost always going to win in a 1v1 fight against an elementalist like right there. But the elementalists can do a lot more AoE damage than anybody else, and so everybody sort of does still have their basic roles to fill. And in PvP, that will make a difference. I mean, it depends. Like World v World, elementalists are, I would say, they're one of the stronger ones out of all the classes, because you can have an elementalist throw out you can have 5 elementalists together throw out a rain of fire or on everything, or throw out 4 different AoEs on each of them, and it'll wipe out 10 people fairly easily with just 5 people. But if you have 10 warriors who are rushing into a group, it's not going to be as effective. I mean, they could target one guy to eat, or there's different roles. I mean, 10 warriors could rush over, take out a guy in a second, rush over the next one, take it out. But in a massive fight, an elementalist would have a much bigger advantage. So, I mean, there's different roles each thing can follow.
But just to take that different path at endgame and not like have these constant tiers and these new PvP gears coming out, it just feels refreshing,
Oh, yeah.
you know. And especially because you're not paying a subscription and you can kind of just play
Oh hell yes.
the way you want to play. It seems amazing for me. I mean, it's not just about content; it's about content, it's about value, it's about money, it's about everything. And it seems like Guild Wars 2 is doing that for everybody right now, and that's why it's such a great game that everyone's looking forward to, which is going to lead me into my next discussion, which is customer service and like what other games have failed you in the past, because I know I've had some like horrific customer service issues with other games. And
Wow.
from what Colin and Eric were saying in a live stream and in an interview that they did beforehand for another website, they were talking about that they're going to blow our mind and that they're promising us to have the best customer service out of any MMO RPG out there. And that's some pretty bold statements to have, you know, especially with all the gold farmers and the people hacking accounts, and, you know, all the drama that can go into that. How do you go ahead, Walker?
Yeah. All right. Well, one of the things that I actually found out the other day is, I mean, I've been wanting to play Dota 2. I mean, I really have. I know that a lot of people keep telling me how bad it is and how it's not very good and it's not worth the money. I want to play it, but like I said, I don't want to buy the game myself. I don't want to pay $60 for it. And so I've been trying to find a few people I can talk to, maybe borrow it from a friend at one point. But one person said that the customer service for that was absolutely horrible, to the point where whenever they finally opened up the auction house, the real money auction house in Dota 2, people started buying all the items that they needed. The attack speed, which is one of the major things that was out at the time, and people were spending thousands of dollars. Some people were spending a few $1,000s on buying their maximum armor, like the full attack speed sets, whatever. And as soon as they were able to do that right there, not long after that, they actually decided that attack speed was overpowered in Dota, and they decided to nerf it. And they nerfed it to a point where it was completely useless. And everybody who already had the armors and stuff, the armor they got was nerfed as well. They didn't get to keep the armor that they paid their $1,000 for. Now they just paid the $1,000 and got a completely crap item now. And the customer service didn't do anything about it.
And
that right there is something that really was it.
Yeah, and then
Ouch.
going to the other side of customer service, I'm sure you guys and everyone else that's watching this video has had issues with like credit cards not paying, not going through. They don't accept Mastercard, they don't accept PayPal, they don't take PayPal, or they have their own like coin system like Square Inc, where it's like all like just such a complicated mess that it
Or they
makes
don't
it.
speak English.
Yeah, they don't speak. It just makes it so much harder, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what ArenaNet has as forth as blowing our minds with customer service. So it's something that definitely excites me to know that's gonna be smooth, and they're really looking to put their sources into that. Now, going ahead and switching subjects, we're gonna go ahead and start talking about Sylvari lore and Asura lore because we're going into beta weekend number 3. And of course, they were just announced about 2 weeks ago that they were going to be playable. So it's going to be a lot of people's first time trying out these two classes. I myself plan on playing a Sylvari Ranger for sure for this next beta weekend to see if that might be my final class. Walker, what are you going to try?
I'm going to be playing a Sylvari Mesmer and probably a Norn Necromancer. I mean, those are the two classes that I haven't played, and races as well. I mean, I played a little bit of the Norn, but hardly any at all, like maybe even just the starting spot. And I didn't really even get past that. It was, I just didn't have much time in the last beta to really do anything. I was busy for the weekend. So I'll be jumping on, testing out the Mesmer and Necromancer, seeing how I like those. But I'm not even going to touch the Asura during this beta weekend. I'm saving that for the launch.
Blackheart, do you plan on playing the Sylvari?
I plan on rolling maybe a Sylvari just to go through the tutorial, but that'll probably be it. I'm not gonna try and go into anything else. Maybe PvP a little bit and test out their racials, but that would probably be it because I don't want to ruin it for me because my main is going to be a Sylvari. And I do not intend to roll an Azura because I hate those little creatures.
Yeah, I hate those. I hate those little guys too. But I was getting to.
Oh, so much hate.
I was getting into a conversation.
All the hate.
I was getting into a conversation with someone about the hitbox the other day, and from what I read, the hitbox is going to be the same as all the other characters. But at the same time, I've always felt in PvP that the shorter character has the advantage, whether the hitbox is the same or not, just because they're so much smaller, and you can be like really intense into a fight and fighting someone that you're focused on, and then you can have this little dude in the corner just like hitting you up, and you don't even realize it because he's so short that you don't even like it doesn't even catch you from the corner of your eye. So that's something that I always felt that shorter characters have an
All of a
advantage.
You can
sudden
hide
your
behind
knees hurt.
chest-high walls without crouching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of a sudden your knees just start hurting and you go, what the hell is that?
Yep, chest-high walls. Asura's greatest advantage.
So do you plan on playing the Asura at launch, Walker? Because it sounded like
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be your main
Asura
class.
is. Yeah, they've been my favorite since Guild Wars 1. I mean, as soon as I saw the first Asura and he blew up the portal with the meteor, I was like, hell yeah, that right there already made that race my favorite just on how powerful they were. And it's yes, Asura are small, and people are like, oh well, they're small, they're weak. They people have been turned off as small people because of the gnomes in World of Warcraft. The gnomes were annoying. Nobody wanted to be it. And I created a gnome in World of Warcraft just because I wanted to have a character that was small and held a weapon that was bigger than him itself. But even though the Asura are small, their golems are bigger than any other race, and they can crush anything else without any trouble at all.
Do you feed on hatred?
They look like big overgrown babies to me. I mean, big overgrown babies that like were inbreeded with rabbits. I don't know. They're just kind of ugly to me.
Either way, they're sexy. What are you talking about?
They just look
All right, let's
odd.
continue.
All right, going into Radasum, I'm gonna go ahead and show a video while we talk about it. Pretty much, Radasum's the capital city of the Asura, and it's pretty much like this big block of pyramid that's like floating over a landmass, and it's just a huge floating cube riddled with interior passages. And then as you reach the upper part of this cube, that's like where the meeting rooms are and the rulers of the Asura race stay. And there's just like different type of intricate pathways and hidden places that people like that race doesn't even know about yet, because of course they took over this pyramid that somebody else deserted a long time ago and they made into something more special. What do you guys think about the capital of the Asura?
I think it is one of the more beautiful cities out of all of them. I mean, Divinity's Reach was amazing on how the size of it was and how beautiful everything was in there. But I mean, the Asura. I'm a big computer person, of course, and I'm a geek. I can say that out loud. And just the Asura looks amazing. The all the looks like they have touchscreen monitor, oh, the holographic monitors everywhere. Everything's floating using magic. The technology and the magic that they have is just amazing to me, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely some cool stuff. What do you think about it, Walker? Since you seem to not like the class, what do you think about the capital city? It definitely looks cool to me.
What are you talking about? I'd like it. You said
Oh no, no,
Blackheart.
I'm at
You mean
Blackheart.
You
I'm
mean
at
Blackheart?
Blackheart. Yeah.
alright. I'll be honest, as much as I hate the Azure, and I mean true writhing hatred that makes my blood boil, they actually have a really cool city that I'll probably check out this next beta weekend. Because, I mean, the first time I saw it in the trailers a long time ago, I was pretty amazed, and I was like, that's going to be one of my favorite cities right there. That was before I knew that it was populated mostly by Azura, so, you know, knowledge is power. But anyway, yeah, I really do like this city, and I really do think it's probably going to be the best one. Probably better than Sylvari's main city, even though Sylvari will be my main. But, I mean, wow, yeah, I'm just looking at some screenshots, and this is just amazing.
And what do you guys know about the lore? Walker, you're being the Asuri expert. Is there anything you know about the lore? How they started?
Um,
You want to tell us about them? How they became a race, or you want me to go into that?
you can go into that. I've talked a lot. But I just know that the Asura, what I know about it, mainly from Guild Wars 1 and reading through some of the books. I mean, I haven't looked into a lot of the lore onto it yet. I plan on reading that up before I start the game. I've just been really busy recently. I mean,
All right.
but, yeah, I just know that the Asura started off underground, and go ahead, I'll
Yeah,
let you
basically,
kick it off.
I'm gonna just sum it real quick. The Sarah, they're supposedly the smartest people in Terria, however you say the world,
Damn straight.
and they're cocky, and they
Doubt
know
it.
they're smart. They're undisputed masters of the like powerful underground civilization that they had. Supposedly, there was this dragon that surfaced, called the Great Destroyer. He was the herald of the elder dragon Primordius.
Primordius.
Primordius. I'm so bad at names and pronouncing them, as you can see, but he pretty much came up through a portal and sent his minions through there, and they were forced to raise to the surface. And being raised to the surface, they had to kind of survive and go through it, and that's where they're at. I mean, the whole entire Guild Wars 2 lore is about, I believe, these five elder dragons coming and changing up the whole entire different land masses and just destroying places. And they move for them 10 feet, but for other people, for the rest of the world, it's like two continents, and they're just like destroying lines down their path. So some pretty cool stuff about the Sora, but we're gonna go ahead and take it to the Sylvari, and I wanted to go ahead and show their capital city. And then while I'm showing their capital city, I wanted to go ahead and talk about their lore, and then I'll ask you guys, what do you think about it? But just to give a little bit of education to everyone, Guild Wars 2 calendar, it begins counting years from the moment the gods left Teria. This is an event known as Exodus. So years before this date, they're labeled as BE, before the Exodus, and then the years after this date are known as after the Exodus. So in the calendar, there's 4 seasons, 360 days, and it's kind of like the real world in that sense. And then the Sylvari, of course, they're young, inquisitive race of botanical humanoids that spawn from a pale tree in Arbor Bay, which is somewhere around the Tarnished Coast or closer to that area. That's also where the Suras in that same area or continent also. So that's why we haven't got to play those races for the beta weekend yet, because that's kind of like their spot. They're kind of blocking us from that area. I'm not sure why, but that was the whole reason. Now going back into the lore, the first Sylvari emerging in 1302 AE, which was after the Exodus. The tree was planted by a guy who was a soldier, and he was attempting to escape violence that was like engulfed interior with all the wars. And then he met up with like the centaur, and they planted the seed, and it built into a tree, and then they both pretty much tried to protect it and grow it. And then these like humanoids things started growing from them, and nobody was sure if it was gonna be more humanoids or they were the last ones, and they were kind of like the first first group of Sylvari that were born, and they went out into the world and explored. And then as that was happening, there was like a second group of Sylvari, and then a third group, and then a fourth group as history
Yeah.
kept going. And each group, because they're all connected to this huge tree that they're being born from, they all have like memories implanted into their brains of what the other groups did.
It's a hive mind.
Yeah, it's a hive mind, so it's definitely some cool
Well,
lore.
I guess it's similar to a hive mind.
Hmm. And it's definitely some.
Obey the
Yeah.
tree.
How do you like? How do you like that black card? The Sylvari's parents is two men. Oh, one of them's a centaur, but it's still a male centaur. So your parents are a gay couple.
I support gay marriage
Oh man, that's hilarious.
and trees.
And trees.
Tree hugger. All right, now let's continue. Yeah, and they're Sylvari. I couldn't get the name straight out there. Yeah, Sylvari. I mean, most of the things that are, whenever they were born, there was a tablet that the centaur had wrote out with. He wrote out his beliefs on a tablet that's on the base of the tree, and that is the what the Sylvari live by is this tablet. That is basically their law, and the centaur was an honorable centaur. He through this tablet he spoke of his past, how a sense of honor, spirit, everything that good about him, and that he wanted to pass on to future generations that could read this tablet. And the Sylvari are a good race because of that. Now, since they have the hive mind, or the dream, or I'm not really sure what it's called, but they all have a connected mind. So the more Asura there are, the smarter they are, because they're able to get a collective conscience. And there is a separate group of Sylvari that believe in a nightmare instead of believing in this tablet. They believe that there's something else that should be followed, and they are a rogue Sylvari that are against their true nature. So that's all I know about them. But yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. I thought that they were like, when I first Guild Wars 2 came out and I started looking at the different races, I automatically looked at them and thought they were elves, and I was like, oh, here's the standard elf race. And then like it took like 3-4 months for me to realize that they're actually plants and they're not elves, and they're actually cooler than what I thought.
They are plants, but that's what that I take about this, is I consider the Sylvari the elves of Guild Wars.
I don't know. I think they're a lot cooler just because, like, if you see them naked, they're like made out of like green plant trunks, and like they're plants, man. Like it's just so much cooler
Would still hit it.
than your natural. Yeah, of course. And then as forth as the lore, I'm gonna go ahead and end it with those two. Just wanted to give you guys some information, because the new next beta weekend that's coming out, everyone's gonna get to try these races and these classes, and just wanted to throw a background, educate everyone a little bit about the lore. And then also the last part of news that came out within the last week, 2 weeks, was there was a Guild Wars 2 soundtrack that came out, and it was releasing for $29.99. So you get more music than a collector's edition, and you can purchase it now, but there's no digital download, so you have to order it and then wait for it to come, but you'll still get it before the game comes out, and kind of get yourself a little bit more hyped, I guess, for the game. Is that something you two would purchase? I probably wouldn't purchase it, but I do enjoy the music. I just wouldn't want to wait 2 weeks, a week for it to come.
I got to the point of clicking the purchase button. I mean, I clicked it, got on my PayPal, everything ready to buy it, and I was so close to buying it and then I was like, no, I don't think I'll buy it. I mean, I didn't really have a reason for it. The more I thought about it, the less I have really space for it on my desk. I mean, I have a shelf on my desk, but it's already full of stuff and everything. But for the music on Guild Wars, I just didn't really have a need to buy the CDs for it. I'll be able to find the music. I'm not really interested in having a signed copy of the CDs myself. If it was like something neat, like an album or something like that, I mean, it's just something neat. If it would have came in something other than just a box with CDs in it, then I would have probably got it. But it's just a CD case, though, a box that has 4 CD cases in it with those in there. It didn't appeal to me as much as the
I get that.
pictures did in the collector's edition. I wanted the picture frame from the collector's edition.
Yeah,
I wanted that much more than I wanted that.
you gotta admit that the music is really good though. Um, it's definitely really really
Oh
good
yeah.
music.
Oh yeah.
Better than some of the other MMOs. I mean, a lot of MMORPGs they spend a lot of money and they put symphonies and orchestra. I mean, Final Fantasy, of course, I always refer back to them. They're a testament of that. They have fantastic, amazing music, and I think Guild Wars 2 soundtrack, from what I heard so far, is on par with that. And it's just we'll see as time comes to see how great it really is, but it definitely matches the scenes and matches the different artworks. Also, in the last piece of news, today there was a video released, about 8 minute video on Facebook, and it was just going through the developers, all the different type of developers that are at ArenaNet, and just saying what they do in the game, how they do it, and different things of that nature. There's not a lot of new information, just introducing a lot of the developers, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's kind of like a tour behind the scenes of ArenaNet. So if you haven't seen that yet, go to Facebook, Guild Wars 2, check that out. Also,
Check it out.
Guild Wars 2 Twitch page, which I found out from this recent live stream. Um, they have some cool videos on there. So they have ArenaNet doing PvP. They have like another ArenaNet PvP battle, and it's kind of like Colin, Johanson, going over like what you should do while you're doing the game and how they're fighting it and the different tactics that they use. So if you're a structured PvPer, I definitely recommend going to the Twitch official Guild Wars 2. You won't see the videos right there. You have to kind of click video. It'll say video or info. Click video, and then you'll see all the, like, I think it's like 7 videos that they have there. Definitely something worth checking out. Like, I didn't even know that you can kind of steal the bosses away from the other team. So if the other team's fighting them and the boss is almost down, and you come in and you just get that last shot in, you'll actually get credit for it. And that's something that I learned today. So I'm constantly learning. Did you guys know about that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
And
so
I
it's
did
similar to
it
Baron in League
twice.
of Legends.
Yeah. So
I did not know that.
I didn't know that. I thought if you were fighting it, you automatically like got credit for it if you were the first one to hit it, because that's how it is in most games. But he kind of shows that they put that in there on purpose and talks about it. So if you haven't checked out the video, go ahead and check it out. And we're gonna go ahead and say our goodbyes. So Blackheart, you got anything for the Guild Wars 2 community?
Support gay marriage, play Sylvari.
Oh,
that's
jeez.
that's
All right. Well,
that's gangster.
yeah. The Asura are the the Asura are the way to go. All right. I can't say to support gay marriage, but yeah, just play Guild Wars. It will be amazing, and I cannot wait to see you all in the Battle of War.
I already see myself making like a Photoshop. Like I'm gonna get a screenshot of a Sylvari and like put some rainbow flags in his hands for the next show. So I think it'll definitely be some cool stuff as we get into the beta weekend.
My new profile pic.
And we're all hopefully gonna get good footage of it and bring it to you guys. We'll do some PvP, some PvE, of course, show off the Asura and the Sylvari, and there'll be a ton of cool content. And I wanted to go ahead and say goodbye and thank you guys for watching the Iron Legion, which is a Guild Wars 2 show that we bring to you guys every Friday. We bring it live. I also record it, put it up to YouTube, and you guys can always watch it on YouTube. I wanted to give a special shout out to Epic, which is my guild. Definitely one of the biggest, baddest guilds around. And we look forward to watching.
Hell yeah.
We look forward to having you guys watch us and enjoy the show. And there'll be many more to come.
All right. Later.